What if one of the greatest disasters in American history didn't start with a war or an earthquake, but with a single cow in a wooden barn? This is the story of the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, a fire so massive it destroyed a city, gave birth to a myth, and changed history forever. On the night of October 8, 1871, Chicago was a city waiting for disaster. The summer had been brutally hot and dry, with almost no rain for months. Wooden houses, wooden sidewalks, and even wooden streets made the city a tinderbox. To make things worse, strong winds blew across the city, ready to carry the smallest spark from block to block. That evening, in a humble neighborhood on DeKoven Street, a fire started in or near the barn of a woman named Catherine O'Leary. The story goes that her cow kicked over a lantern, setting the hay ablaze. Within minutes, flames spread from the barn to nearby houses. The winds carried sparks across the city, turning Chicago into an inferno. People panicked as the fire grew out of control. Families grabbed whatever they could and ran into the streets. But the flames moved faster than anyone could escape. Firefighters rushed to the scene, but their equipment was outdated, their horses exhausted, and the sheer scale of the fire was overwhelming. For 2 days, the flames consumed Chicago. Buildings collapsed, businesses vanished, and whole neighborhoods disappeared into ash and smoke. By the time the fire finally burned itself out on October 10th, the destruction was staggering. Nearly 300 people were dead, 100,000 were left homeless, and more than 17,000 buildings were reduced to rubble. Chicago, one of the fastest-growing cities in America, had been brought to its knees. But here is where the mystery lies. Did Mrs. O'Leary's cow really start the blaze? Or was this just a convenient story? A simple tale to explain a disaster, too big to understand? Newspapers at the time loved the image of a clumsy cow kicking over a lantern. It was dramatic, easy to imagine, and easy to blame. Catherine O'Leary, an Irish immigrant, became the villain in the public's mind. People mocked her, ridiculed her, and turned her into a symbol of carelessness. But historians later uncovered that the cow story might have been invented by a reporter looking for a catchy headline. Catherine O'Leary herself always denied the tale, saying she had gone to bed early that night and had nothing to do with the fire. Some witnesses even suggested that neighborhood boys playing near the barn might have started it accidentally. Others argued it could have been caused by a thief or by sparks from a nearby chimney. The truth is, no one ever discovered exactly how the fire began. What is certain is that blaming Mrs. O'Leary's cow gave people a simple explanation for a complex tragedy. It was easier to laugh at a cow than to face the reality that Chicago had been poorly prepared, dangerously built, and sitting on the edge of disaster long before the fire started. In the end, the Great Chicago Fire became not just a story of destruction but also of rebirth. The city rebuilt quickly, using stronger materials like brick and steel instead of wood. Out of the ashes, Chicago grew into one of America's most modern cities, with skyscrapers, industries, and a determination never to fall so easily again. So was it really Mrs. O'Leary's cow that destroyed Chicago? Probably not. The fires. True cause will likely remain a mystery forever. But the legend survives, reminding us how myths can grow from tragedy and how history often chooses the simplest story even when the truth is far more complicated.